content over everything.
So what I'm going to do today is discuss whether or not anti-Semitism exists within the three main political parties in the United Kingdom. There's been a lot of talk in the press about anti-Semitism. A lot of people have been making accusations about anti-Semitism. So I decided to find out for myself if there are MPs or councillors within the three main political parties who are anti-Semitic. So I'm going to do some research on that. So we shall start with the Liberal Democrats. The first piece of information I was able to find through investigation actually came from the Evening Standard. And it was an article which was released back in the 20th of November 2019, and the article from the Evening Standard claims Wahid Rafiq, the Liberal Democrat candidate, suspended from party over clearly anti-Semitic remarks. So the Evening Standard made a claim that a Liberal Democrat candidate by the name of Wahid Rafiq was suspended from the party over clear anti-Semitic remarks. The article goes on to say a Liberal Democrat candidate who made clearly and unambiguous anti-Semitic comments on social media has been suspended from the party. Wahid Rafiq was standing as the Liberal Democrat candidate in the Birmingham Hodge Hill constituency. But a Liberal Democrat spokeswoman said he had been suspended from the party on Wednesday afternoon, describing the online posts from him as clearly and unambiguously anti-Semitic. It comes on the day that Liberal Democrat leader Jo Swinson launched her party's manifesto and follows the suspension of Ryan Horton, the Tory candidate for Aberdeen North, on Tuesday for his alleged anti-Semitic, Islamophobic and homophobic postings. So the first piece of information I was able to get was in regards to the Liberal Democrat Party, in regards to its MP candidate called Wahid Rafiq. He was suspended. The other piece of information I was able to get, also from the Liberal Democrats, in regards to the Liberal Democrats, was in regards to a man by the name of David Ward. Now, this piece of information was released back in 2017, and it claims here, and this article is from the EJC, which is the European Jewish Congress. They released an article back in September the 3rd, 2017, claiming that David Ward, the former Liberal Democrat MP who accused Jews of inflicting atrocities on Palestinians, has been sacked as a general election candidate by the party. Ward had intended to stand as a Liberal Democrat candidate in Bradford East, where he lost his seat at the 2015 election. So those are two candidates that I've found from the Liberal Democrats who have been accused of anti-Semitism. The first person was Wahid Rafiq, who was the Liberal Democrat candidate, and the second, who was the Liberal Democrat candidate for Birmingham Hodge Hill, Wahid Rafiq for the Birmingham Hodge Hill constituency, and the second Liberal Democrat is a man by the name of David Ward, and he was the Liberal Democrat MP for Bradford East. Those are the first two I came across for the Liberal Democrats. I then proceeded to do some more research because I was curious, and I did some research into the Conservative Party. And I found within the Conservative Party the same problems, the same accusations of anti-Semitism. The first piece of information I was able to attain was from The Guardian. Now, this was an article which they released on the 11th of December 2019. The article is headlined, Tories open second investigation into Hastings candidate. Sally Ann Hart faces inquiries over alleged Islamophobia and anti-Semitism. So this is for the Tory party, and the article that I'm reading to you comes from The Guardian. It claims here, the Conservatives are investigating election candidate Sally Ann Hart for alleged Islamophobia just days after opening an inquiry into her for liking a Nazi phrase on Facebook and sharing an anti-Semitic slur. I read again. Sally Ann Hart. The Conservatives are investigating election candidate Sally Ann Hart for alleged Islamophobia just days after opening an inquiry into her for liking a Nazi phrase on Facebook and sharing an anti-Semitic slur. Labour has made fresh calls for the Tories to suspend their candidate in the marginal seat of Hastings and Rye, who was also publicly condemned last week for implying that disabled people should be paid less than the minimum wage. So this is the first person that I came across in the Conservative Party, a woman by the name of Sally Ann Hart. Another piece of information that I was able to attain by doing some more research also related to another man within the Tory party by the name of Lee Anderson. Lee Anderson is standing for the Conservatives in the Labour-held Ashfield constituency. He is an active member of the Ashfield Backs Boris face group. Unfortunately for him, on that Facebook group, there is a Soros conspiracy. Now, what is the Soros conspiracy, you ask? Well, the people who are being accused of being anti-Semitic are part of this George Soros conspiracy. Now, the George Soros scandal relates to the fact that there are people who are implying that the billionaire George Soros, who is Jewish, controls the EU, and there's also Nazi slogans mocking him in this Facebook group. So two candidates from within the Tory party, Sally Ann Hart, and the second person being Lee Anderson. Now, these two people are under investigation. Naturally, the Labour Party has become aware of this. The Labour Party has called for all three candidates to be suspended and is also demanding that the Boris Johnson account for his 2004 novel, 72 Virgins, which it claims contains anti-Semitic descriptions of a Jewish character. So now the Labour Party are now making a claim that Boris Johnson should also be investigated for his anti-Semitism. So these are the three people from within the Tory party: Sally Ann Hart, Lee Anderson, and a claim has now been made that Boris Johnson as well has also been expressing anti-Semitic remarks. So far, I've provided you with 5 people. 2 people from within the Liberal Democrats. In case you cannot remember, the first one is David Ward. The second person who has also received accusations within the Liberal Democrats is Waheed Rafiq. And then we go to the Tories. We have Sally Ann Hart, we have Lee Anderson, and we also have accusations being made about Boris Johnson. Of course, this was before he became leader of the Tory party. So that was what I was able to dig up and find from the Liberal Democrats and from the Tory party. I then decided to do some more research and look into the Labour Party, because a lot of claims are being made about the Labour Party. People are making claims that anti-Semitism exists within the Labour Party. Some people have even gone so far to make a claim that Jeremy Corbyn himself is anti-Semitic. I am not sure about this. I have not found any form of information which claims that Jeremy Corbyn himself is anti-Semitic. But having said that, I did do research and I was able to find councillors and MPs associated with the Labour Party who've been accused of anti-Semitism. Here is the first piece of information I will provide you. It comes from Leicestershire Live, and it's an article which was released back in the 22nd of November 2019. Now, the title of this article says, Senior Leicester Labour Councillor Mustafa Malik suspended over anti-Semitic Ku Klux Klan video Facebook post. Now, what it goes on to say here is a senior Labour councillor has been suspended from the party for sharing an anti-Semitic video featuring the former Grand Wizard of the Ku Klux Klan. It is understood Assistant Mayor for Jobs and Skills, Mustafa Malik, is being investigated by Labour officials for posting the 15-minute clip entitled CNN, Goldman Sachs and the Zionist Matrix on Facebook. The footage shows David Duke, the former leader of the US racist and white supremacist organization, speaking about how banking and the media are influenced by key Jewish people. Councillor Malik described the video as an eye-opener when he shared it in June 2016. His post has recently been brought to spotlight leading to his suspension from the Labour Party. Leicestershire Live then tried to contact Councillor Malik for a comment. A Labour Party spokeswoman told Leicestershire Live the Labour Party takes all complaints of anti-Semitism extremely seriously and they are fully investigated in line with our rules and procedure, and any appropriate action will be taken. So this is information that I was able to come up straight away when I was looking into whether anti-Semitism exists within councillors and MPs within the Labour Party. I came across this man by the name of Mustafa Malik. The second piece of information that I was able to come across in regards to whether or not anti-Semitism existed amongst Labour MPs or Labour councillors was a piece of an article which I was able to discover on The Independent. Now, this article was released the 28th of November 2019. It says here, general election Labour candidate sacked over anti-Semitic social media posts. And who is this person? Labour has sacked its general election candidate in Falkirk over allegations she made a series of anti-Semitic social media posts. In a blow to the party's hopes north of the border, Labour was forced to remove Safia Ali as its candidate in the Scottish constituency after it was informed of anti-Semitic posts on an old Facebook page. It is understood that the posts were missed by Labour during the candidate vetting process, as they were made on an old account that Miss Ali no longer used. So basically, as you can see here, this lady by the name of Safia Ali, who was a Labour candidate for Falkirk, has now been suspended from that position, so she can no longer run. So that's one other person that I was able to discover. The other person that I discovered in the Labour Party that was associated with anti-Semitic allegations was a Labour MP by the name of Chris Williamson. Now, this article comes from the ITV News, which was published the 28th of June 2019. The title of it says, Labour MP Chris Williamson is suspended again after backlash over investigation into his anti-Semitic comments. The article goes on to say Labour MP Chris Williamson has had his suspension reimposed 2 days after it was lifted, following a backlash within the party over the handling of an investigation into his anti-Semitic comments. The growing anger against Jeremy Corbyn and other senior Labour figures saw more than 60 Labour MPs sign a motion formally beginning moves to have Williamson again suspended from the parliamentary party. Now, this man, Chris Williamson, is the MP for Derby North. It says that the Derby North MP has not had the Labour Party whip restored to him as a result of the fresh investigations which are being made. So this is another person I came across within the Labour Party, but this is not a councillor, this is actually an MP who's been accused, Chris Williamson. Goes deeper than that. I went down the rabbit hole trying to find out if all of these allegations were true. I then came across another article. This one is from the Plymouth Live. This article claims Jewish Labour councillor in Plymouth suspended over allegations of anti-Semitism. Jewish Labour councillor Margaret Corvid has been suspended over an allegation of anti-Semitism, Plymouth Live can reveal. Now, this article from Plymouth Live was released the 3rd of December 2019. It makes the claim a Jewish Labour councillor a Jewish Labour councillor in Plymouth has been suspended over an allegation of anti-Semitism. I got confused when I read this because it says a Jewish Labour councillor in Plymouth has been suspended over an allegation of anti-Semitism. It says it is understood Margaret Corvid has been suspended by the Labour Party ahead of an investigation into the complaint. Councillor Corvid, elected as councillor in the Drake ward of the city in 2018, has apologised for statements made years ago, before she was a Labour Party member, which she says do not now reflect her views. She also says she alerted the local Labour leadership to the issue a year ago, and fully supports the party's policy to stamp out anti-Semitism. It's a very interesting story about this lady here, Margaret Corvid. The claim here making that she's Jewish, but she's been accused of anti-Semitism. And one of the things I found when I conducted my research was that there were certain Labour MPs who took it upon themselves to leave the Labour Party because they felt that the claims of anti-Semitism, in their opinion, were not being dealt with properly and were not being investigated properly. I heard this in the grapevine, so I decided to do some research, and I came across this MP by the name of Luciana Berger. I came across this article in the ITV News, 18th of February 2019. It says, Luciana Berger quits the Labour Party over institutional anti-Semitism. The MP for Liverpool Wavertree has quit the Labour Party over what she calls a culture of bullying, bigotry and intimidation. Luciana Berger led 7 MPs who all resigned from the party this morning, criticising Jeremy Corbyn's approach to leaving the EU and the leadership's handling of allegations of anti-Semitism. This was the first MP that I came across who actually left the party. I thought it was all hearsay. It wasn't true. Then I came across this piece of information from this woman. I then came across another piece of information in regards to the Labour Party. And this relates to a man, an MP, by the name of John Woodcock. I came across this article in The Guardian, 18th of July 2018, and it says MP John Woodcock quits Labour amid disciplinary case. Now, there are a number of reasons why he's quit, and some of them are quite interesting. It says here the MP John Woodcock has quit the Labour Party, saying in a resignation letter that a disciplinary case was rigged against him and that Jeremy Corbyn would pose a clear risk to UK national security as Prime Minister. Okay. Woodcock, the MP for Barrow and Furness since 2010, is a long-time and fervent critic of Corbyn's leadership. In April, the party suspended him amid an investigation into claims he sent inappropriate text messages to a female former aide. But it also goes on to claim here that he is also dealing with accusations from his colleagues for anti-Semitism. He feels he's been hard done by. He feels that a number of allegations, one of them being anti-Semitism, one of them being his alleged sexist email to a colleague, are unfair and untrue. But that's the other person that I've come across in there. The final thing that I wish to share with all of you, and then you will all be able to decide for yourself whether anti-Semitism exists amongst councillors and MPs within the 3 main parties, was this interesting piece of information I came across from The Guardian. It says, Corbyn sorry for hurt inflicted on Jewish people by anti-Semitism row. Now, this was published the 6th of August 2018. The reason I want to read this out to you is because part of what is here is a speech by Jeremy Corbyn. And it says this. It's a video, but I can't play the video for you, but luckily they've written down what he says in the video. Jeremy Corbyn goes on to say, I am sorry for the hurt that has been caused to many Jewish people. We have been too slow in processing disciplinary cases of mostly online anti-Semitic abuse by party members. We are acting to speed up this process. He then goes on to say, our party must never be a home for such people and never will be. People who use anti-Semitic poison need to understand. You do not do it in my name or the name of my party. You are not our supporters. And anyone who denies that this has surfaced within our party is clearly actually wrong and contributing to the problem. These were the words of Jeremy Corbyn. Unfortunately for him, in this article it says, Jewish groups, however, accuse Corbyn of lecturing them on the issue and being ideologically hostile to the International Holocaust Remembrance Alliance. So these are the pieces of information that I shared with you from the various articles relating to the Liberal Democrats, the Conservative Party, and the Labour Party. In there, I have provided you with the information I found on councillors and MPs, some of whom who've been suspended from their roles, who've all been accused of anti-Semitism. And the final thing I gave you was a speech by Jeremy Corbyn himself, who condemned anti-Semitism within the Labour Party, chastised those who tried to deny that anti-Semitism exists, and he makes a promise that the disciplinary process will improve and rid the Labour Party of these people. So from the information I have provided you, you can make up your minds whether you think anti-Semitism does exist amongst certain MPs and councillors within the main parties. That's all I have to say. Has anyone got any questions?
Look, I personally think that the accusations of anti-Semitism of the Labour Party and of Islamophobia in the Conservative Party and whatever, all those things are just political tools. It's as simple as that for me. I think it's an easy way to silence someone. It's to say, oh, he's the bad guy, he's the racist, oh, he's anti-Semitic, oh, he's Islamophobic. It's as simple as that. That's
do you think all three parties are using it as a tool against each other?
Of course, most definitely. I have no question about that. But my question to you is, why do you think that the Jewish community overwhelmingly supports Boris, considering all the information that you gave us? Do you think it's simply they simply didn't research it enough, or is it something else? Do they have further interest in supporting Boris?
I don't know, because to me, I find Boris also falls into the realm of being accused of anti-Semitism. In one of the articles I read.
Most of Islamophobia, but you know, sometimes.
So I don't know. I mean, we'd have to speak to a Jewish person who decided to vote for the Tories, because a lot stopped voting for the Labour Party. Maybe they decided to vote Tory in like a political, protest against the Labour Party, or maybe they actually supported the idea of Brexit, which the Tories were pushing. I don't know why. Because that's new to me. I didn't know that so many Jews supported the Tories. I wasn't aware of that until you mentioned it.
Maybe I have a bit of a theory about that. Maybe the Jews saw a big similarity between Corbyn's ideology and actual socialism through history. And we all know that there were big pogroms, there were big attacks on the Jews, because there were attacks on the Gulag, on the kulaks, which is in translation from Russia, the fists, which are the people who controlled a few swaths of land.
They were put in gulags.
Many of them were Jews, and many of them were killed. And also the bankers, of course, they got to a certain extent attacked in the Soviet Union. The rich people, the bourgeoisie, a lot of them were Jews, and they were very attacked by the Soviets. Do you think maybe because of the link between the two, also because Corbyn never openly condemned the Soviet Union and any socialist systems, and because many of his supporters openly openly support socialism? Do you think maybe that's part of the reason why the Jews felt uncomfortable with Corbyn?
I don't know, because to me there's a difference between socialism on paper and socialism in reality.
Yeah, of course.
The socialist utopia on a piece of paper looks good to a lot of people, but the historical examples are to the contrary. So I don't know. But so it's interesting, but that you, going back to the first thing you mentioned, that you feel that the whole anti-Semitism thing is just a tool. Okay.
I'm pretty sure of that. Nowadays it seems to me like you can just call somebody a racist or call somebody Islamophobic and immediately cut on their support. Immediately. But without any actual research.
One of the pieces of information I provided was in which a Mustafa Malik, who was a Labour councillor, he put on his Facebook page Ku Klux Klan imagery and a video which associated the Jews with the Ku Klux Klan conspiracy that they're running the world, they're running the banks. Now that is regarded as anti-Semitism.
Yeah, of course.
So there are cases where there are councillors who've said things or uploaded things
who supported anti-Semitism.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if you'd say they support anti-Semitism, but the thing is the Labour Party itself found what they did to be offensive, anti-Semitic, and suspended them from that role.
Look, at the same time, I'm not saying it never happens. I'm not saying the Tory party can never be racist, or the Labour Party, same thing, that they can never be racist or whatever. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that it's taken to such an extent where there doesn't have to be an actual research and an actual developed,
That's why I did this video here, because I wanted
to
look
call and cut on their support.
I didn't just want to accuse the three political parties. I wanted to get the information And so I read the articles out to the viewers, and you were listening to some of it.
Yeah.
And I made sure that the articles I chose related to the three parties, the Liberal Democrats, the Tory party, and the Labour Party. So within those three parties, people have gotten into trouble for accusations of anti-Semitism. I don't believe the parties themselves within their manifestos are anti-Semitic. I don't believe that. I believe that there are individuals, as I think you alluded to, that there are individuals within every party,
of course,
who are behaving in
a
antisocial.
It's very possible.
So that part I agree with. I don't believe that Jeremy Corbyn is anti-Semitic. I do believe and have suspicions that Boris Johnson is racist, is Islamophobic, and I'm still trying to dig up information on anti-Semitism with
racist against who? Against black people? Against Middle Easterners? Against...
There have been phrases he's used in the past. I wish I brought more info. I was gonna do that next week. But what I do recall in regards to what's his name, Boris Johnson, was when he was caught using words like pickaninny in regards to black people, which is derogatory. So using that word is a derogatory word. And I know with the Islamophobia, he referred to women who wear niqabs as letterboxes.
Yeah.
So that's also offensive. So I'm not so surprised with Boris Johnson. I don't believe Jeremy Corbyn is any of those things. In regards to Jo Swinson, who's going to be leaving her post, I don't think...
Jeremy Corbyn said that the death of Osama bin Laden was a tragedy. And also with al-Baghdadi, the same thing.
Yeah, but
so
that
he
doesn't
also
make
has
you...
a past in very...
But in regards to the anti-Semitism thing, I don't think saying what he said about Osama bin Laden would make him an anti-Semite.
I mean, he's defending
or anti-Jewish.
He's defending terrorists. Isn't that also a very hateful kind of speech?
Oh, I would definitely challenge that. So if I was going to be talking about people supporting Osama bin Laden, absolutely. If I got the information on that, I would definitely challenge him for saying that thing. I wouldn't agree with that.
And he never apologized for that. He never said anything about it.
Definitely not. Definitely not.
Plus, don't you think that Jeremy Corbyn was kind of playing on both sides by his... he was very reluctant to say his personal opinion on Brexit and on many other things, also the Trident system. Not only him, but Deanna Abbott was in the same situation where she's asked about the nuclear weapons. They always divert, they always try to escape. Because it seems pretty clear to me that they all are against Brexit and against nuclear weapons themselves. They want to dismantle the system itself. But they can't just flat out say it because a lot of their support is pro those things. So in those regards, it seems very insincere. I mean, obviously we're talking about politicians, because obviously it'll be a lot of lies everywhere. But that's an especial bad kind of lies, because they're not even saying something, will do something. They're just not saying what they'll do. It's even worse, because it's a lot more open to interpretation.
Well, it did cost him, because in the election, that was one of the problems.
It did cost him a lot.
I don't think it'll be something he'll be doing in the future, but then I don't know if he will still remain as the Labour Party leader.
Definitely not.
But the indecisive, well, I wouldn't say indecisiveness, the reluctance to give you a viewpoint, as you've mentioned that he was doing, it cost him. So I agree with that. It didn't work well with the constituents, the electorate. They needed to know what he wanted to say. It didn't help.
He needed to have some kind of opinion.
Yeah. But that's mainly what I have to say to everyone. Thanks very much for that. So from the info, if you need more, you can always rewind the video. I'll do my best to provide COE with the links as well, so you can all check and read these links, and then you can come to your own decision whether or not you feel that there are MPs or councillors within the Labour Party, Liberal Democrats and Tory Party who are anti-Semitic. Thanks for your time. Goodbye.
From now to
Man, say it straight. Man, don't listen to BBC. Man, don't listen to ITV.
Okay, so I don't know if you want to introduce yourself, because I haven't really spoken to you on camera before.
So I'm Sam. I've been coming to Speaker's Corner for about almost 2 years now.
All right, similar time as me. So, yeah, I mean, we're going to talk about something that's kind of a hot topic now within, let's say, the right, which is the notion of civic nationalism and ethno-nationalism. Now, Ethno-nationalism, I think it's pretty simple, which is that you believe, some who's an ethno-nationalist believe that the majority, I'm assuming maybe like 90-95%, the minimum, should be of a particular stock of people. So in England, you're talking about the English.
Yeah.
In India, there are ethno-nationalists in India. I believe the Indians should be the majority. China, all over the world. It's not just a white phenomenon.
Yeah.
It is every country, if you really look at it, is ethno-nationalist to a degree.
Yes.
Now,